Okay, the one I want to set up from last training is just a bit of a, workshops and everything are great, and you should workshop things and bash things around, but I'd really like to see if we could start maybe monthly, maybe is the time, but a breakfast here that is just us, perhaps Mr. Williams, rather than have staff lead us along in a workshop. We need to sit around a table and get all our aspirations and our visions and our dreams and our concerns, for that matter, always out on the table. And I'd like to set up, I did suggest at one stage something like, I think I suggested a Wednesday morning, but that conflicts with Rotary clubs and things like that. So I'd really like to be able to find a day. I don't expect everybody to turn up, there's always something that will hold somebody up. But if we could have those, and from there I really sort of got this dream and a vision, I suppose it is, I don't know what it is, but I'd really like us to be able to say, hey, this is a good idea, this is what we want to do, and take a directive back to our one employee chief executive and say, hey, look, we as a council, we want to do X, Y, Z. Now, often in the past I've seen council spend a lot of resources and money and effort and time bringing something before the council, and the council go, no, go away, we don't want to do it. So let's try it the other way around. Let's go to the staff and say, this is what we want. See if you can make this happen and bring it back to us. And if it ticks all the boxes, well, then we can go with it. So it's just a little bit of turning it around. Perhaps, I hope I'm getting my wording right. But look, at the worst case scenario, it's a breakfast. It should last an hour and a half, 2 hours at max. I'm thinking like 7 till 9, something along those lines. And just put it out there. Just let's have it. And one of us might have an idea, and the rest of us go, that's bloody stupid. So I suppose it is when you think about it. Leave it there, or it's great. It's visions and aspirations and dreams, and that's what I believe, that's probably why you put your name forward to be councillors and that, because you had dreams and aspirations and things you wanted to change. So if you can help me sort out a day and a time, I'm against Mondays and Fridays, because often people take those days off to make a long weekend, but help me here.
Can I add something further to that, Mayor? Are we still on camera?
Yes, we are.
Oh, I better not do it then, because mine's a bit sort of informal and frivolous. So if we can have it.
Okay, well, it's not about secret societies or hiding anything from the post. Far from it. It's just about being yourself, interacting with each other, and hey, it's if you want to, webcameras on, and please,
what I've been thinking was that we're this new dream team. We've come together. We've had lots of input of all sorts of things in our head. Is there possibly any time in our getting together that we can have something that's less formal, a little bit frivolous? We can come up with potty things like you're saying, and we could all get together. And I've got this sort of thing that I've been tossing around in my head. Perhaps it comes from my school teaching days, I don't know. But let's think that there are things that aren't to do particularly with council. Like when we first came here, we both looked at all the name tags, and Rob and I said, why haven't we got our Christian names on that? And we had it done. Do we always have to sit in the same seats? When should we ever have a do around someone's house? All these things that are informal. We are in a chamber, and I thought, well, let's use the word 14. 14. I'll tell you why 14. You guess why 14. 14 words is like a motion that you put forward, a proposal, and then it is this whole session only takes 14 minutes. 14 words on the proposal. We have 14 times, every so often we get 14 of these proposals, all anonymous, that come to us, and we want to just discuss them for 14 minutes, say 14 times a year. Why have I chosen 14? Great Lake Taupo. Now, what do we put these proposals in? Well, we are a chamber, and some of them may be a little bit potty that we come up with. We could pot some. So I thought, well, what's better to put these proposals in than one of these, okay? One of these. So we could have a potty session, we could have a potty person, we could put them in the envelopes. No one knows who said them. 14 envelopes, 4 potty suggestions, and the potty stands out here. We get a potty person every week. You can put your suggestions on here, and then we could have something that's sort of dreams and aspirations or something like that to keep us all together, to keep us amused. The first thing that someone could put in it is, I think this whole suggestion by Craig, Councillor Craig, and that'd be the end of it. Okay?
I think we should send you to Wales with Mike.
Now, just to end it, I've made an investment here with this chamber.
You get no reimbursement back for that.
You wouldn't guess where it was made.
England.
Made in Poland.
It's the same with a paper.
Made in Poland.
Mileage on, Keith. Write your mileage on that one.
Now, the first thing is you do when the first 14 people, because there's always 14 of us here, that's another. You put the thing in. If you want to have some ownership of this, it's, you would want ownership, this wouldn't be this good a thing to own, just put a little donation. And I got it from Marsden Antiques, it was $185. I'll leave it there and put you up. It should go in the
It probably could, Councillor Crate. I'll ask you to go back to your seat, if you don't mind. And a very good suggestion. And you've done drama in earlier life, have you?
Yeah, you've obviously just nominated yourself as facilitator.
Okay, so we'll go back to well, before we go back to where do you get this 14 from? Because when in the elections there was 10 of you elected and one of me.
There's always Gareth here.
Okay, well, my suggestion was that we as governance meet with perhaps Mr. Williams just to guide us.
Yeah.
I'd like to have some meetings where there's not too much guidance by staff, or one's enough. And he is our one and only employee. So perhaps if we go back to where I was with these breakfast sessions, you get a nice breakfast out of it. You could bring the potty and we can use it at those sessions.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so take me back to where I was. What morning of a week suits everybody?
Just keep in mind, I think it's a great idea, I'm fully behind it, but just keep in mind, we've got 3 councillors here that are going to have to leave home at 6:15 in the morning.
Well, that's why I'm asking for a time. Do you want to do it in an evening? Do you want to do a luncheon? Okay, there you go. Well, let's think about it. Well, is a luncheon? Yeah, it probably is with you travelling. Yeah. So what day of the week, once a month, would be a day that most of you could get there? Would it be you like golf? What day do you golfing?
Oh, don't Thursday.
Okay, just give me a day. Is it
Thursday would suit me, personally.
Thursday lunchtime? Yeah. Okay, I've got Thursday lunchtime on the table. Sorry?
Thursday, yep.
Thursday. We alternate between. We can plan the next day and evening.
Well, but Councillor Hickling has made a very good point. I mean, you've got a young mother here and travelling, and so breakfast is probably out. I never thought of it.
I think breakfast is a good idea, but we've got to accommodate people that
Rob can do lunch. You can do lunch, Rob.
So while I accept the need to have a regular or fixed time just to make sure it actually does happen on a regular basis, and I'm open to whatever happens, but personally it would probably work better for me on a case-by-case basis of working it out when we did it at different times. Because like maybe have a lunch one time, maybe a dinner another time, maybe breakfast another time. Okay. It's probably more likely you're going to get people being able to attend if you give options over time, I think, rather than have a fixed time.
What I'm trying to do, hey, maybe it's not even a breakfast or a dinner, maybe it's just a workshop, but I'd like to have workshops. We've had them for over 3 years for some of us. You've only had them for a couple of months. All your workshops are normally with staff, and they do their job very, very well and admirably, but I want us to have workshops and us decide what we want to do or we think we might want to do.
Well, let's just throw our Thursday lunchtime and then we can plan at that one the next time it suits. Do you know what I mean?
So if I'm looking, this is the meeting dates agenda that we're working out here. You have got your next council meeting, as I think is it the 14th, 15th of February, which is a Tuesday, and I'm thinking perhaps the Tuesday before that is community board. We can't do that. I'm thinking maybe Thursday, about Thursday the 10th or something, is it? Yeah. So where are we today? We're January
26th.
26th, and today is a Tuesday. How about Thursday this week? What's in your diaries?
Waipahiki Botanical Gardens.
Okay. Thursday next week.
It's 11 o'clock.
No, I'm not around Thursday.
Oh, the first meeting, yeah.
Thursday next week is what date, Councillor Williams?
I'm not around next week.
It's the 3rd.
As long as we can get 70-80% turnout each time, we'll all get our.
Is it this Thursday or next Thursday?
Oh, so next February, Thursday.
Further away, time to plan.
10th of February.
It's still soon.
Yeah. One at a time. We're still in council and we're on webcam and one at a time. Yeah.
Yeah. So for the 10th, it's to be honest, it's very recent still. It's not far away, and gives you more time to prep to make sure.
Is the 10th of February? Is it a Thursday? Is it? I haven't got a calendar in front of me.
Yeah, Thursday. Yeah.
Okay, so 10th of February, Thursday, lunch midday suit.
Yeah.
One or two, never mind. You know, I'm not meaning that badly, but I mean, if you can't make it, put an apology in. We just need to get together and focus on what we want to achieve in the next this triennium. Okay? And you bring your dreams, put them on the table. And I'd like Mr. Williams to be there because he can say, look, that's impossible, the reasons why you can or can't. Hopefully Mr. Williams, and I know he is, he's a guy that likes the can word and not the can't word, so that's great.
So we can call this dream time, can we?
Yep, dream session or what were you doing, your potty thing?
Potty time.
Yeah, it's a 12 potty.
Can I offer to host it at Plateau in a private room offsite here? So.
If there's a private room available, that's fine. I don't want interference or cell phones at it, but it could be. I know the back room you're referring to. Yep, that's fine.
Just keeps it out of here.
Yep, as long as it's a low cost situation, or
I think I could even host you.
keep the crayfish and stuff off the menu, please. Right, can I have a mover, please, that the meeting dates for 2011 be received and agreed to, and that includes next Thursday, 10th of February, lunch dream session. Mover, please.
12.
Councillor Williams, seconded. Councillor Minstrel, in favour. Carried. Thank you. Okay, number 17. We'll do this one quickly because then we have to go into confidence anyway, and I see we're on our own now, but we still, of course, have our space people out there on webcam, which is great. So, members' report. I'll go around the room this direction if you have anything to report. Councillor Kibber, Councillor Truman.
I've done my reporting.
Yeah, that was a great report. That was a good one though, Councillor Truman. How's, just as I don't mind me asking, how's that new tourist adventure going on Lake Maraetai with the longboat?
Yeah,
they're getting plenty of this, because for people that don't know, what was that boat called? Waitanui, been on the Whanganui River, it's been out here at the Hooker Falls, and it's now plying its trade on Lake Maraetai. And we launched that just before Christmas? Yeah, just before. Yeah. So it's going good? Cool. You would have had a lot of campers at Lake Maraetai over the Christmas period, and you had the powerboat racing? Yeah, that was pretty cool. Okay, Councillor Minshaw. Councillor Henderson.
Oh, it was a huge number of happy stories from visitors to the region who are just totally overwhelmed, and they all, from my observation, they were a totally subjective observation. I think it's pretty right. They all started arriving after New Year, and I didn't see any young people here over New Year's Eve. The 18 to 25-year-olds who spend $1,000 going to live in France were not here. And La-di-da and Wairepa and Hiahia and Mangakino. And the other thing that I've noticed was we were out on the lake on New Year's Eve, came into 2 Mile Bay at midnight, saw the fireworks, and the whole shores on Hoyle Point, Rainbow Point, all around to the Millennium Hotel was hundreds and hundreds of people enjoying the fireworks, and they were very much appreciated. That's my input.
Cool. Councillor Dannard?
Right, well, you've heard about the 2 meetings that I've had, so yeah, just with the rugby World Cup with Martin Sten and then with Alan Phillips, and then just with, as Rick mentioned, Cronulla Sharks, we had a meeting with Damien Irvine, the CEO of them, and everything's on track for April the 3rd, which I think is another huge coup for our tourist market in Australia, because it'll be televisionised around the whole of Australia, New Zealand and England as well.
And England, yeah. Councillor Cook?
I've emailed minutes from the Community and Lakes DHB Health Forum meeting last year to read. And that's
To the Waipahihi Botanical Gardens, which was great. It's an asset. I think we've organised a.
Oh, I see that.
The council. I mean, it is an asset for our community. It's definitely worth a look. So I think 17th.
17th, yeah.
11.
Yeah. And I attend Wairoa House Trust Committee, which is an incredible asset for town. It's worth a look there. It's just unbelievable what happens. Held together by an amazing leader, Deb Peppers, who seems to facilitate 100-odd workers all trying to do the common good. It keeps them in a harmonious way. It was great. And the Airport Authority, Rick and I attended, and heads up the runways being resurfaced, but they've run into a couple of hiccups, which is being dealt with as we speak. So that's why.
I just attended the neighbourhood meeting on Rice Street Reserve on Friday. It was just tremendous. The community was really buzzing down there. It's not really neat. And Dylan, God, he's a class act, that guy. So I think we've got one at Orawaka this
Friday night.
weekend. So yeah.
If you can get along and attend those, it was really great, because I think it's a great initiative that staff took on here. This is the second year they've done it.
Yeah.
Our neighbourhood, our future, and it really is it's exciting, but it's quite sad when you think that you drive around some of those streets and neighbours don't even know their own neighbours' names. So to be able to bring them out into reserve and get them to intermingle, and it's all about society needs to look after each other and things like that. So for Orawaka this Friday night, if you can manage it, and I do want to commend the staff for that. I don't want to hold everybody up for a long time, but hey, very little gripes I've received over summer. I just got to say that 99% of people I've spoken to have been really, really happy. The retailers, the shops, the restaurants, a beautiful ladies shop, I forget its name, in the main street now, sells ladies fashion, and that lady's just absolute asset to this town. She goes in there and she just buzzes, and she reckons it's been as busy as it's ever been, and town's been great. I think there is life after the ETA. In fact, I think that's proven now. Because the average person sees a truck in town now, they seem to want to lynch them, I think. But I think it's great, it's fantastic. I think we're in for a good year, and I'll just take a question or query from Councillor Henderson, and then we'll break for afternoon tea.
I did have a couple of queries from ratepayers, but I wasn't going to raise it. I thought some more information may come to us, but as Mike's raised it, I'll just bring it up. I'm interested in knowing a bit more about the Cronulla Sharks coming here and what the project and proposal is.
Okay, I'll give a little bit of an overview because we are on webcam, and we as councillors in the district, we need to make sure things are promoted here and what have you. But to cut a long story short, Cronulla Sharks in Australia decided to take their home and away game away from Toyota Stadium in Sydney and look for greener pastures and different ways of doing things. They came down to Taupo here. There's a company here called Kick It Promotions. Kick It Promotions has a lovely lady called Roxy Douglas, Frano Bodaka, who was an All Black, and by the way, he was born in Mangakino, and he was in the World Cup in 1987 that won the Rugby World Cup. So he's also helping us along with Sir Colin Meads later in this year. And of course a guy called David Peachy, who's a very, very well-known NRL player who's an Aboriginal, but I believe he's married to a local Tufro lass. They have a company called Kick It Promotions. They have organised the Cronulla Sharks to be playing the Warriors here on April the 3rd. Kick-off time is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Prior to that game, there will be two games. There will be the New Zealand under-17s and the New Zealand under-20s. And then the Cronulla Sharks will play the Warriors. It'll be televised Australia and England, Fox TV, and it's 2 o'clock here. It's 4 o'clock live, Eastern Seaboard, Australia. They'll come into town on the Tuesday. The Cronulla Sharks will come in on the Tuesday. They're planning all sorts of integration with schools and things like that. It's a big promotion. Taupo District Council, Rob, Mike and I have been very instrumental. All we're doing is trying to make sure that we promote it, people know about it. The biggest game we ever had at Owen Delaney Park was 14,400 people in 1994. Was when the South African Springboks came back to New Zealand the first time after apartheid tours, and they played King Country. Waikato King Country. We had 14,400 people there, so I'd like to think we could surpass that. It's going to be a great event, and I think it's a great precursor, pre-runner to Rugby World Cup. It's happening. It's no commitment from Taupo District Council because just the way things work, King Country Rugby has the lease of Owen Delaney Park, so they gave the day to the Warriors and the Cronulla Sharks to have their game there. And all going well, it's going to be a rip-roar of a success, I sincerely hope.
Okay, just follow through on that. The reason I raised the issue and the reason that people come to concerns with me, some concerns, and why I have some concerns, is it would be difficult, in my opinion, to find a sporting club that would appear to have a worse culture and has a long history over the last 10 years of financial mismanagement, financial problems, and also administration and leadership. Now, I won't necessarily go into all the details about that. It's pretty available to anybody who wants to go and have a look. And so particularly because I've heard it mentioned this may be a long-term thing, and they may actually come here and use training facilities in an ongoing way, and particularly because you mentioned contact with schools and so forth, I would have to seriously question whether these are the sort of people you necessarily want to be doing business with. And furthermore, I'd question Kick-It Promotions, who have 3 people, one of whom I'm not familiar with, one of whom is an ex-NRL player and one an ex-All Black. I would question what management experience they have to pull it off successfully as well, given that I don't know anything about those people other than they were sports stars. And I would question whether the Cronulla Sharks are necessarily the sort of team that we'd want to be doing business with as a district and a council.
Well, to put that, well, that's okay. I don't know what answers you want to your questions, but let's just revisit. There's about 3 questions in there. Cronulla Sharks. Well, firstly, the whole chairman and the board and everything has changed. The players have changed.
Twice.
Sorry?
Twice. They lost their CEO in June last year and the coach.
Yeah, that's right.
But they had a previous CEO was, yeah.
I don't really know where your questions are leading. Yes, Cronulla Sharks have history. A lot of clubs have got history, but
long-term recent history though.
Would you suggest that we shouldn't be having them
one
here in Taupo?
No, I would suggest that one be very circumspect and one be very upfront about what the issues are that the clubs had and what the benefits are that we wish to get out of this as a region.
Well, I think the benefits to the region and our input is what we should be discussing. Their history, I don't think, is for us to discuss or debate, really.
Well, if I'm doing business with somebody, the first thing I would look at is the people concerned.
We're not doing business with anybody. I just tried to explain to you, King Country Rugby have subleased the grounds to them for the day. We as a district will be hosting them, not costing us anything. They're paying their own hotel fees. In fact, we're not paying for anything. But we have an opportunity here for rugby league players to expose them again, ourselves on the world stage over in England and everywhere. But unless the Cronulla Sharks are physically kicked out of the NRL family, then I accept them as I would any NRL team. Councillor Minster.
Rob, you're saying that we are going to, for example, saying Tiger Woods wants to come to Taupo, he's paying his own way, and we're not going to have him. You know, like, you can disagree or agree with what he's done in the past. This is such an, if council was putting $1 million towards it, you could question it, but we're not. And it's a conspiracy theory of all these things that. This is a major thing for Taupo. 3 years.
Oh, there's no conspiracy theory, Rex.
Well, the question is like, where are you going with the questions? It's like,
yeah.
It's like questioning the management. We're not paying them.
I'm just referring.
Okay, I'm going to bring a point of order. I'm going to bring a point of order. Refer you to item number 17. I'll refer you to what it says here. No debate and/or resolution is permitted on any of the report. I've accepted the report. Have a mover, please. Move Councillor Downard, seconded Councillor Hickling. All those in favour? Aye. To receive the reports. Thank you. Meeting closed for afternoon tea. We will resume in 15 minutes.